Hello everybody out there in the wonderful world of YouTube. Welcome back into the Stinky Robot Studios. I'm Michael Smell. Thanks for showing up. First time here, we draw a new piece of art almost every day from start to finish. We use acrylic inks, but I always start off sketching with a good old-fashioned number 2 yellow. Hope you'll just consider drawing along no matter what your skill level. Grab something to draw with and have a good time with me. I'm hoping by the end of this video I will have earned your subscription and you'll reach down and subscribe to this channel. And if you already subscribed and you're giving it a chance to subscribe, reach down, smash that thumbs up button, helps me out with the algorithm. Shows me a little bit of love and I appreciate every single one of you for doing that. And yeah, so before we get started here, I want to first say I apologize about yesterday. For those who wanted me to go live yesterday, had a little bit of technical difficulties. I got it sorted out, but unfortunately not in time for me to be able to go live before I had to get the kids and this and that. So live kind of caught me yesterday off guard. It will happen from time to time, but I do attempt to be here with you at least 3 to 4 days a week. With that, guys, let's just jump in. Let's get started. And like I said, hopefully by the end I've earned your subscription. We're always looking for new subscribers here at the channel and trying to start a little community of people to draw, like-minded people to come and draw and have a good time. So feel free to jump over into the comment section and let me know what you guys think of the stream. If you want to just want to ask me any questions or hang out and talk random things, then by all means join the chat. I am here and I'll be responding to everything we can. Alright guys, let's do it. Let's just start. The nice good old-fashioned blank sheet of paper as always, and let's see what we can put on it, shall we? Drink a coffee here real quick. If you fall in love with this live stream or any of the other ones and you want to own this particular piece of art, my website is right there, StinkyRobotArt.com, StinkyRobotArt.com. Sorry, stole my own website there. StinkyRobotArt.com. These are available. They are sold as a blind box so that I don't have to repost every single day the new piece of art on the website for sale. However, they are, even though they're blind boxes, you are more than welcome to hit the contact button there on the website and just drop me a quick line and say, hey, is this particular one available? And if I have not already sold it, I will gladly sell you that one. So don't feel like you're beholden to the blind box concept. All you gotta do is just shoot me a quick little message. I'll be sure to respond as quick as I can. And we'll make sure that that is the piece of art you receive in the mail. But a side note on that, do make sure you contact me first before you make the purchase. That way I have time to get back to you and respond before I ship out the work. I'd hate to ship out a blind box to you and then realize that you wanted, you know, live stream number 24 or something like that. Yeah, just simply tag the live stream number with it so I know exactly which piece you're talking about. I think today we're going to do a real nice, just straight on shot. See if we can come up with a neat looking robot. Again, as if it's your first time here, as the name implies, Stinky Robot, I do draw a lot of robots on this channel. I don't always do robots, but I'd say a good majority of what I do happens to be the mechanical nature. But if you're deciding to draw along with me, by all means, draw whatever you like. You are not at all obligated to draw robots. You can draw what I'm drawing here, or you can choose to draw whatever your heart desires. I encourage everybody to find their own voice. Okay, here we go. So that's our starting shape we'll begin with. We'll start branching off of that. Decide how exactly we want the curve down here, which yeah, I think I'll curve that just a little bit. So we always try to knock in the pencil work within the first 15-20 minutes. Occasionally that goes a little over, but my goal has always been only the first 15 to 20 minutes on the actual pencil sketch itself. From here, we'll ink in, do a quick little outline and ink, and we'll jump in with the acrylic inks, and we'll be using brushes to paint in the acrylic inks. Okay. Let me see how I want to proceed here. I kind of like adding little building as we go, shaping out our bot. A lot of times we'll end up with a pretty similar shape, so not always. Better mix up the robots. This is a common shape here that I do draw from time to time, but I always try to find that one particular character or something unique for each one and try to give its own personality. Don't just always draw the same robot over and over and over again. And a lot of what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of practicing for my larger works. They're just loose concepts. I can draw the same thing over and over. It's not a big deal. I will be basically kind of working out, practicing techniques. And so the overall, I'll have a certain feel to my larger body. So this is kind of like a practice session, best way to think of it. Just a basic practice session. But by the end of the practice session, I end up with a neat little piece of art. I'll throw a mat on and they'll be up for sale. Out the sides a little. All right, let's see where we're at. 6 minutes. See, let's shoot for 15 minutes. Let's try to have him fully fleshed out in 15 minutes. That's gonna force us to stay pretty quick and pretty precise with all of our movements. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do another one of my emoji bots. I don't know if they're my smiley face bots or emoji bots, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of fun. So that's what I'm going to do. Got this big center part of the head, so I feel I hide a lot of smiley faces in my work. I have since in high school. I used to draw lots of these little smiley face characters that I invented back in high school, and I drew hundreds of these things. And these are the smiley faces that I draw into my work from time to time. There's kind of an homage to my old high school self and all of my smiley face characters. And I drew literally hundreds of these little smiley face guys. So yep, you'll find them hidden not in every painting, but throughout a lot of my work. You just randomly see a smiley face hidden in here, hidden there, or just added to it. Why not? It's fun. I enjoy it. So. Okay, we'll keep our center line nice and fresh in here. Let's see. But he needs eyes as well. Eye slits or elongated. And experiment right now. I'm not sure if I want to go with this shape of eye or I want to go with this shape of eye. Kind of feeling this side, this shape this time. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. I can see this center line is not the center for what I've drawn, so we're gonna move it over a little bit. It's better. We're just kind of working in and kind of just opposite of what Rusty does. Kind of like that. All right, go. He's pretty stiff. That's all right. Kind of dig it being stiff like this. A little more mechanical aspect to him today. Neck. Oh yeah, 11 minutes, so step it up. We want to flush it out. Nice timely manner today, and then once we have a real basic drawing, it comes down to the acrylic inks and the techniques we'll use to make him look more dimensional and make him kind of come to life. This is pretty much just a real basic outline drawing. Keeping it real loose and real simple. Draw much from in here, but we just need to make it kind of shows there's a little bit more robot there. Yeah, a little bit. Little further. It's not quite even with the other side. It looks a little awkward, so I'm going to stretch it just a little further, make it a little bit closer to what we've done on the other side. time I said 15 minutes, so we have about 1 minute left. I think we're gonna stop. At 15 minutes, we're gonna cut ourselves off. Where we're at. That kind of thing. 15 minutes. Finish the drawing, no matter where we're at, we will turn that then into a piece of art. Do me a favor, if you like this video, like and share it. Send that around a little bit. Give me a little bit of love. We're an early and beginning channel here, so if you use any help that you may offer us in spreading the word of what we do here on the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Everybody knows someone who likes to draw and sketch. If you could help me find that audience, that would be absolutely appreciated. One of the best ways you can support me here on the Stinky Robot channel is to just help spread the word. Guy draws these random robots. Oh yeah, 15:52. So yep, I said we're gonna stop. So this is your stopping point. There we go. Let's need a rivet and a rivet, rivet and a rivet. There we go. That's it. We're done. We gotta stop. Okay. That's it. Let's start outlining. I'll grab a number 3 pen here. What's that? Nice, crisp, clean lines. Like that. Hey, what's up, WT? Glad to see somebody in here with me. Hi. Keep this pen work nice, long strokes. Try not to get scratchy at all. It's all kind of in a nice and clean. What are you up to today, WT? How things on your side of the street? A little bit here we're gonna have to do in just a minute. Put the smiley face in there. We'll have to clean that up in just a second. Cool. Here we go, here we go. That's pretty decent right there for sure. We're about done with this face now. Where are we at? 21 minutes. Step it up here so we can finish it up pretty quick. The faster we finish it up, the more time we can spend on the inking process. This is why I'm kind of trying to rush through this part a little bit. Nice clean lines. Nice speedy pace. Nice. Yeah, I feel like just chilling out today as well. Yesterday threw me for a little bit of a loop. We went home for Easter. And had a great time, kids had a blast. Weather was a little on the crappy side, but we made the best of it. Yeah, I bet it does, drawing with your left hand. Oh yeah, anyways, we had a great Easter, went back home. And luckily we just had a little bit of rain, but it for the most part, we got through the Easter egg hunt, no problem, just a little chilly. But the Thursday I went to this tattoo shop and we got met up with a whole bunch of guys. We're starting a little project there, and basically everyone in the shop, I think there's 7 or 8 of us, we're all challenging each other to create a whole work of art over a 1-month period. And we all have the exact same theme to see what different people can come up with. So it's a lot of fun. So I'll be going in there every 2 weeks, checking in with them, showing off the work, doing critiques. So it's a good chance for me to, network a little bit and get to know some other guys that are like-minded in the art biz. I'm a painter and, they're tattoo artists, but I believe they're going to be doing paintings with these as well. So that'll be fun. But the I took my iPad and I was drawing on my iPad and sketching some on the iPad. Of course, we left for Easter. What I do, I leave my iPad sitting in my backpack, and I don't have to tell you, I use this iPad all the time. That's what my screen I'm looking at right now, that I read all the comments on, and I do the, my computer is so far over that way, I can't really live stream with my computer that far away. So yeah, yesterday I went to go plug in, got the live stream all set up, I was ready to go, and I went to go transfer my iPad, and I went, oh no. Dead as a doornail, 0% battery life, just chilling in my backpack. So of course, I can't charge it in enough time before I gotta get the kids from school, so yeah, yesterday's live stream, I shot myself right in the foot yesterday. I was a little perturbed at myself for doing that. You live and you learn. I get on my kids all the time because they like to use my iPad every once in a while, because they do a lot of stuff in Procreate, and my daughter's quite the little artist. She loves using Procreate to draw. I'm on them all the time. If you borrow my iPad, if you borrow my iPad, then they make sure that it gets charged, because I can't go live if I have a dead iPad. And then sure enough, I'm the one who messes it up. What's the theme for the challenge? You talking about today's theme or the overall drawing theme? Today we're just kind of knocking out. I think I'm going to do another smiley face bot, which we've done in the past. We're going to make it a little bit cleaner, and I'm going to change out the emoji a little bit. I think I'm not going to be my traditional smiley face. I think I'm going to play with an emoji. An interesting idea. Like maybe I will branch out on my smiley face that I do in my work and put random emojis in. Kind of speaks about our time. You know, I speak a lot with emojis anymore, just because they're fun. But yeah, today I guess it's an emoji bot. Oh, for the art group this month. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, the theme actually was kind of, I threw it out there a little bit. They were talking about what to do with the theme. I was like, I had this idea of doing this Medusa bot, which I've talked about in this channel. I did a little sketch for it. And they're like, yeah, Medusa. So the idea, the theme for this one is not Medusa. It's taking something from a mythology, any mythology they want. Take something from a mythology and then modernize it for modern times. So that's the theme we're going to go with for this month. Is yeah. So I'm going to be doing the robot Medusa. So take some kind of some mythological, very common mythological being or creature or something like that, and then bring it into modern day times. Make it completely modernized. So that's the theme that everybody's got to work with this week. So it'll be interesting to see. Everybody just got the theme last week, and we just kind of did some like little sketches and all said bye to each other. But that'll be the theme. So it'll be interesting. We're meeting in 2 weeks to show the progress, and then we'll do a critique on the progress. And then we'll meet up again 2 weeks later and show our final work. So I think it's gonna be fun. Mythopunk, I like it. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So yeah, now you'll, and of course I'll make a YouTube video on it, on the progression as well. So I'm not gonna probably do live stream on the drawing, but I'll definitely have a full video coming out with the creation of that piece, and I'll probably talk a little bit as well. That's one thing I'm wanting to take this channel is to the next level with doing things of that nature. So we're not going to do only live streams on this channel. I'm going to start branching out here pretty soon. Start filming all the paintings I do, and you'll see time lapse and progressions, and that portion of the YouTube channel is coming soon. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because we're going to be doing a lot more on this channel than just live streams. And we're not just a live stream only, and if you want examples of those, you can check out my painting section, and you'll see the time lapses on the painting section of all the paintings in my larger works that I do, and give you a preview of what's to come on this channel. There's a lot planned, but right now I'm just kind of dip my toes to the live streams, get myself in the habit of going live on a regular basis on this channel. And then I will build from there. Back to the pencil real fast. We're just about done at 30 minutes. It's time to start inking it. I'm gonna draw the quick emoji on there. I think let's see. Let me get my pick. One I was thinking about doing the other day, and I had him sitting here waiting. All right, let's see. Let's see, I like this guy. The wiggly face guy. The Durr face. Otherwise known as my son's favorite face. Then I'm talking about in real life. He's got this Durr face he makes for comical relief all the time. They give you this just like the dumbest look on his face. He does it for fun. He loves getting the reaction from you when he goes the Durr. It's hilarious. My kid is a hoot. Okay, we'll go with that. I think that looks decent. And we'll just ink that in real quick. There we go. We'll go with that face today. There's a lot of different emojis. We can play around with all kinds of them. Yeah, we'll have to see if everybody's comfortable with the idea of sharing on my YouTube channel or not. At least at this point, I have just met the guys, a lot of them just for the very first time last Thursday, so we'll see me dip my toes in the water. I'm not sure if I'll stick with it or not, or we'll see if the how comfortable these guys are with showing their work. Like I said, my best friend works at the shop, and I've met several of them because I'll go up there and see him occasionally, but I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go yet. We'll dip our toes in that water as it come. And yeah, it might be a thing where a lot of them may show interest. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to create more body of work for themselves and for the shop in general. So when they do the tattooing conventions and things like that, they have material to create prints and other items to sell at their booth. They're at the tattoo convention other than just doing the tattoos and stuff. So that's kind of the idea that they're chasing. And I think they got that, a lot of that came from my buddy Joe, who, because he sells prints at the shop, and a lot of the other guys going, oh, these prints sell, that's nice. Like I said, me and him have a printer, a really nice printer here at the house we share. So, all right. But yeah, I mean, prints are always a good idea for any artist, even in the tattoo shop, in the tattoo world. Because a lot of times you have clients come in, you got one client getting a tattoo, and he's there with a friend or two friends or his girlfriend or something like that. They're not getting work done. But if they like your work and you have prints for sale of various things, I mean, they may not get a tattoo, but you know, they may buy a print. So there's extra revenue and extra income right there on the spot. You know, okay, one guy gets a tattoo and his buddy buys a print, and you're golden. All cash in your pocket. All right, here we go. Ready? This is what kind of background we want to go with here. Let's get the brush out. Let's just wet it while my brain is kind of ticking away at what we want to do. I think I'm gonna go with the orange and yellows, of course, in there. I kind of want to do blue, like a large body of blue with a silver inlaid on this. So if I'm going to go blue, I've done purple quite a bit lately. Thinking maybe just yeah, let's just stick with that real light colored antelope, kind of subtly in the background. Maybe a few little splatters for fun. I'm not gonna go overly detailed with it. I think we're gonna get really detailed with him because he's gonna be a nice, clean drawing. So, straight to the antelope. And antelope being one of my favorite background colors. If anybody's watched my channel, they realize I use it quite often. A great brown. It's a little bit like a light greenish brown. A fantastic color. I don't think I want to get too dark with it, but I want to make sure I'm right up on my edges. Yeah, kind of just like this. Try to get a little bit of light splattering with it, just for fun. And dig into the other side. I just rotate the canvas because a lot of times I just find it easier to get nice clean lines if I'm upside down. I know it's not always the best practice when you're drawing or painting live, but I am looking for the best product at the end. I hope you guys will forgive me a little bit for turning my canvas and going a little upside down on you. If you just found this video and you're liking what you see, don't hesitate to hit that thumbs up. Give me a little love. I greatly appreciate everyone for doing that. And I'm hoping you will like it enough to subscribe to the channel. I'm shooting for as many like-minded people as I can who either like watching art being created or want to join me along and draw with me. Regardless of what you draw, you do not have to draw robots. If you wish to draw with me, draw what's in your heart. Draw what you love to do. Robots, monsters, houses, portraits, all good, whatever you want to do. I do hope to win your subscription here today. Help us build a little community here at StinkyRobotArt.com, Stinky Robot YouTube channel, for the live streams and for the other videos I put out. Kind of randomly talking as we work here. Sometimes I mumble. Sometimes I hum. Other times I just paint. All right, where we at? That's one thing I have noticed I do a lot of that I did not realize I did. I catch myself all the time while I'm doing the live streams. I'll just randomly start to hum myself, and I'm like, oh, don't hum, don't hum. You know, I never realized exactly how much I hum while I work, but apparently I do it a lot. Something you don't think about when you're just randomly working on your work. You got some music in the background, and you're just painting and humming. But when I'm live streaming, I try to catch myself. I'm like, oh, no, we're live, don't hum. People like to watch me draw. I'm not sure how much they like to watch me sing. But hey, if I'm wrong and that's why you tune in, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know how much you love my singing. We'll change the whole theme of this channel from humming to singing. Oh, I don't want a whole lot of oversplatter on this one. So I'm going to wipe it up right as soon as it hits. We're going to wipe it up. We have a little bit of water on our paper towel, and we're just going to kind of hit it. I'm going to try to stay a little bit directed. With a nice wet brush, and we do small taps to keep the splatters kind of right where we want them. That's the attempt. The more water you have, the bigger splashes little dots will get. Quickly clean those up before they get too dark. The longer they sit, the darker they get. Be kind of quick on it. It's going to get a little bit. There's not much you can do about it. Now we're going to go in really wet. And we're going to add some like big blotches. Let the water. Out a little bit like that. We're not going to let it stay fully dark. We are going to blot this off in just a second and leave the cool effect behind. But we're trying to randomize it, make it look. Yeah, we're just painting some really wet stuff here. Like so. Pretty decent effect. Now we're going to pop this off. Now we're using a completely dry one this time. We're just kind of pulling the excess water off. Just left with that cool effect. That's all we want, just like that. But we're gonna add maybe a little hint of a bright yellow in the background. Just kind of helps set off that tone a little bit. Play off the smiley face real nice as well, or the wrinkly face, or whatever emoji face that is. So using the water, just a little ink, spread it. Not going crazy. Trying to keep it pretty subtle, just kind of near the edges, a little bit into there. Just to give a bit of a pop to the background. Bit of pop. A little bit down here on the bottom. Now for the trifecta, we're going to add just some dark splatters right over top of the entire thing. Ooh, that's right. Paint all that in, it'll go away. All these mistakes we made in here, don't worry about it. We'll clean that up as we go. Better make the mistakes on the background layer and then work our way forward than to make it on our final layer. So why we always work from back to front. I think we should go back to the same brown. Now this, we're gonna use a little, see, I'm gonna use a lot of blue in this robot, but we're still gonna use Payne's gray. Well, let's go indigo. Indigo splatters. We're not gonna go all the way to black or the dark Payne's gray. We go to the indigo. Very wet brush. Blue. Okay. There's our splatter. There's my blue thumb. Okay, moving on in, guys. Here we go. Now, definitely gonna go with a blue with him. I think I might go, if I can find my color here. Second to hunt down the color. What color I want is a darker color. Leave that for later. Here we go. Right. I'm gonna try doing the marine blue. Let's see what we can do with a real light marine blue. Kind of curious how this is gonna turn out. Okay. We might want to add a little white to this one as well, just to lighten this blue up a little bit. Sharper brush. color. It's a pretty nice little color. I'm gonna go with a lot of white on this one. Oh. Yeah, so this is the light side. This is going to be the lighter side. I'm sticking with a real light blue, kind of scrubbing it in there. We'll darken things up here in just a second on the shadow side. You'll see. I'm going to go straight marine blue on the shadow side of things. Yeah. So great color. I'm kind of happy I picked this marine blue up. It's turned out to be a pretty, like a real dark teal color blue. And if I add a little white to it, I get more of a teal. A real slick looking color. Like it. Lighten it up near where the sun, the light might catch it a little bit on this side of it, so we're kind of just adding a little light blue up on the edges, like so. And we're going to feather this all in better here in a little bit. But again, light to dark, not dark to light. So we'll go with a little bit of light first, and then I can darken it as we see fit. Now, should I make those red or orange? Like maybe these might be really dark. Out to some, yeah, we'll figure that out. I think I'll make this the same color as I do the neck. It'll be like almost like a black. That'll look good. Build up our colors right now, get over the whole thing. Then we'll start smoothing our colors out as we go further into the drawing. Again, if you're curious, I am using acrylic inks. Like them quite a bit. They kind of function a bit like acrylic paints, which I use a lot in my my larger bodies work. I do paint in acrylic ink, hard bodies. A lot of the techniques are pretty similar between the two, but there's enough differences that it takes a little bit of getting used to working with these. I'd say it's almost like if you want to combine the two, if you want to combine watercolor with acrylics, that's somewhere in the middle between the two is where acrylic inks really fall. Because in some aspects they're thick and opaque as well. A lot of these are very opaque colors, like you would find with acrylics. And you got your translucence as well. But you have the fluidity WaterColor. It's some fashions. This is more similar, closely related to WaterColor. So it's fun. I recommend everybody experiences different mediums. Branch out, try different things, find the ones that work best for you. Like one of the ones I love the most is oil paint. I love working in oil paint, but I don't have the patience for oil paint. So that's where I found that acrylics function better for my workflow, because naturally I think I gravitate more towards what I can do with acrylics because of the dry time and the speed. I can work rather quickly in acrylics, where oils slow down my pace of my work. That's kind of important to keep in mind when trying out different mediums. Which ones fit your own personal drawing and painting style better? Everybody's different. Everybody's more unique. Going real light blue on the highlighted side. We're going to put quite a bit on the shadow side. I said it once, I'll say it again. This sure is a great blue. Love this color. In love with this color. I think I'm gonna go with the smiley face. I'll probably be a little heavy on the orange flavor when I get there. You'll see. It'll be yellow in tone, but I think I'm gonna go a little oranger than I normally would. Add the rivet shadow detail while I'm working it as well, just to kind of get that in there. Keep working it, that's the key. You'll know when it's done. It'll tell you. Sometimes you gotta work out more than you think you need to, and other times it's like, well, you just touch it and you're like, oh, that's all it needed. One little flat. One quick little touch of the brush and you got it done. Other times you just like work and work and work and work. And eventually it gets done. But that really comes with experience. The more you learn, the more you mess up, the more you... Basically the only way to learn when its piece is done, and you shouldn't touch it anymore, that's it, don't touch it, you're finished, is by overworking a piece 100 times. The more you overwork a piece, the more you mess up on a piece, the more you start learning where your limits are and when a piece is finished. I get that all the time with people who are just starting off, or they only draw occasionally for hobbies and this and that. They're like, well, you know, I can never do anything as good as you do, or I never can figure it out. Well, it's like, really, you're overworking it. That's, well, you're either over or underworking something. A lot of people want to do one layer and be done. Other people are just gonna get too dark too fast, overwork it, and they're gonna get blobby with their work. They're gonna get frustrated, and that's understandable. Because I know I work sometimes and I still get frustrated. But it's through those frustrations, it's through overworking or underworking pieces over and over and over again that you'll start to find your voice. Start to realize, oh, like this is my style. This is how much I work a particular piece for this effect. But you're only going to learn that by messing up over and over and over again. What you don't typically see when you see most artists. They show their best work, but they don't show their failures. And you'd be surprised at just how many... Pick your favorite artist out there. How many works your favorite artist out there has done that just they completely hated, tossed away. They learned from their piece, they moved on, created the next work, liked it or hated it, moved on. Think of your musician. Think of your favorite pop star, your favorite singer, and imagine them in the mirror just practicing over and over and over again, singing the song over and over and over again, even without their band, just singing in the mirror, singing the words, memorizing the lines. Well, it's the same thing for an artist, or you're just someone who likes to draw in general. You have to practice it over and over and over and over and over again to make it look natural. When you actually create your official piece of work, it'll look more naturally. People will be amazed and they'll be in awe, but they'll never see all that time you spent practicing. Now you guys will, because you witness me doing it almost daily. That's what these are. This is me practicing. And I'm just putting it on YouTube for all to see and all to join in, and encouraging all of you guys to do the same thing I'm doing. If you're passionate for it, work on it, practice it, draw it. And I will practice. I'm working on little techniques here. Every once in a while I'm dropping in a new idea, I'm blending new colors, I'm trying different techniques that I have not tried previously, and seeing how they work on these small, quick bodies of work that I do for YouTube. And things that are working for me very well, I'll take to my larger body of work and my big paintings, start incorporating them into my larger body work. The things that I do not work out so well and they fail and they're kind of like, ooh, well, I tried it. And those will not find their way into my larger body of work. Now you'll get to watch them right here on YouTube. That's why I always say I'm always open to your comments and suggestions and critiques. Leave me a word. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you believe I could do better. You got suggestions for me? Tips? Tricks? Absolutely. Let me know. Because this is how I practice. This is how I grow as an artist. Is by doing all these little simple portrait robots and stuff like that, because if they work here, they may work over there. All right. We're gonna make him silver, I think. So this part around the smiley face will be silver, this part will be silver. I think I'm gonna go real dark with these lines. So if I'm gonna do that, first thing I need to do is I need to come through here and I need to clean up this blue. So we're gonna work one palette, one color at a time. Get one section looking good and move on. highlights right now. Then we're going to add our shadows next. Blue. Oop, no. And find that perfect. There we go. Solid medium blue. Now the white highlight. White. Real clean, crisp line. Typically I'll do this with a very thin brush, which I probably will go back over in a minute. I'll add it just all white. Very thin brush. Near the end I'll do that. But we don't necessarily want to do it right now. Because it's kind of nice when you have a very light blue and then you put a white, bright white right on top of it. It helps kind of blend the colors a bit better. So now we're just going to add that color right here on the tip. Right here up. All right. Now down to here. Good light color blue. Darker. Very dark. A little shadow on that side of things. Straight to white. Like that. Straight to white. That's the highlights right in here. There. And that's sexy. Now that's just the blue. We got the blue done. Now we got to figure out our next color move. We still have the shadow work to do. Should we do it now? You know what? Let's just go ahead. Before we move on, the temptation's always there. But we're going to 100% finish the blue up. All we got left to do is just a little dark highlights. Right along the edges. Clean them up. There's not going to be a whole lot of them, so let's just get it done. Maybe we can say they're done. For this, I am going with Payne's Gray. A lot of these areas don't need to be fully diluted or opaque, so we'll go with a little. I'm kind of rocking We're diluting them a little bit with water, so that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to go about 50-50 ink and water. You'll see here how just that little bit of extra shadow detail, that darker color. Now, if we don't dilute it, we go all pure opaque, then we're going to lose that color. Because we want that blue tone to show through there. We want to make sure we maintain that tone. If I went straight Payne's Gray, we start looking real dark. Want to maintain that for sure. As I feather it out, I'll just use more water and dilute it more and more until it's just barely any Payne's Gray in there at all. Okay, just like that. Pretty much just like so. Very little of this color is actually needed. Oh. One little stretch around this side. Like so. That is it. Gonna go right here. Just kind of pop that a little bit, separate it. That's it. Okay. Now we can jump into that silver detail. We'll knock in these two arms, the center section here. Then we can move into the dark outline border, the next, this, followed by the smiley face at the end. So, sure you hang out to the end to see how it all turns out. Now for this blue, the silver detail, we only want to switch our blues up a little bit because we only use a little blue in the silver, not a lot. But we want to use, I think we're gonna go with Process Cyan. It'll give us a little color separation in our blues and make it look more silver and less that painted color we want to go with, our painted black color. So, mind you, we're going to keep it very thin. We're going to be very loose. Do not want to use a lot of this. Right up against our shadow sides first. Way too strong, way too strong. Dilute that down. That even more. Don't worry about those rivets in there that disappear. We are going to bring those back in a minute. So, I know some of you are like, well, you just paint over those rivets. Well, that'll come back in the final detail stages. We'll be bringing those right back in where they belong. Fill out that shadow bit. See how I'm doing such light, I mean, we're probably 90% water, 10% ink at this point to bring this blues in. And varying that between 90-10, mostly water, to 70-30, mostly water. Get a few different tones. On camera, it probably looks like they're the same color, but in person, they are slightly different colors. But again, they're all just water washes, so not overly concerned. Just kind of being random with it. Staying semi-conscious of where the shadows and lights are going to fall as I add these colors in. Alright, so now let's get these shoulder details added next. We're about to move into do gray. We're almost finished with this. Didn't take much. Such little amounts of work. It didn't take much at all. We do not want to overpower it. We just want some blue in there so we can get nice reflective surfaces. Gray in. Too dark. And we're just bringing in the water and lighten that up. Having just some fall detail there. Just a bit. Done. Bring on the gray. Here we go. Bring on the gray. We're going to blend some of this gray in. Again, staying fairly light. We're going to stay about 70-30 and absolute most go to 40-60. Again, we do not want this to be a solid gray at all. Just kind of some grayish, shimmery type stuff. So nice and loose. Brush nice and wet. Or blend into those blues. It's too dark. Water. We're blending it real well here. And always conscious of our water ratios. That's the one thing that I mess with the most as I'm working, is I'm constantly adjusting the water ratios. If I put a thing too thick, I dip it in the water and I wash it back out. If I get it too light, I dip it back in the paint and I go back and forth. Always conscious of the water ratios. And we'll go over our final pass of white here in just a second and pull it all together. Tell areas I'm going to leave mainly in highlight and very, very little ink going in those spots. On the shadowed side of the face, we're getting a lot thicker with it. Definitely still leaving those highlighted areas though. And on top of the head, it's almost going to be non-existent because it's mostly going to be all in highlight. Just a few areas in there just to color shift a bit. We don't want it to be all white on top of the head. We want a little bit of color shift happening. Ooh, that's too much. And water, thin it out. We have just a tiny little bit on top of the head. Put that down to the chest. Just do the same thing there. We're gonna get it all worked in here. Constant ink, constant water. Constant ink, constant water. Make sure we balance those ratios. We'll still come in here and add our highlights and shadows. Those are not going to stay absent for long. Thick, water down, dilute it, smear it, blend it out. So, right now it just seems like it's getting a little weird muddy gray, but that's fine. We always say that you're going to get muddy. These colors are going to get jumbled, they're going to get a little bit muddy, and that is absolutely fine. It's absolutely normal. It's a bit of a panic for most artists when they're not used to painting in this manner. Your work gets muddy, the real easy to start freaking out, thinking, oh, I just screwed it all up, I've ruined it, I've messed it all up, oh my god, I had it looking so good, now it looks like junk. Throw it away, I've had enough, hands in the air, I quit. Well, the muddy is actually a crucial part of developing your work. We're getting muddy, that's fine. We're gonna pull those back out. I always say work light to dark. Well, yes, work back to front, light to dark. But there is a point in that when you're working, instead of going light to dark, you're gonna go light to dark, but then you're gonna pull back into the light. You're basically building up this big, nice, medium base. From light to dark, but you're building this gorgeous medium base. So everything is completely brought to almost like a central color palette. Once you're there, then you're gonna darken it up with shadow, and then you're gonna bring your highlights and bring everything back up to bright during your highlight phase. And that's gonna, when done properly, will really make your piece come together. But if you don't take it dark enough, your highlights won't pop enough. If you take it if you're too dark, then your shadows won't pop. So you gotta find that perfect tone for what you're looking for. Again, it all comes down to practice, 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 and fail. Fail 1,000 times, fail 1,000,000 times. And be proud of those failures. Through those failures, develops an awesome artist. All right. So now, I think we got pretty much all of that we want to do done. We're good and muddy on our silver tone. We're not going to go much further. So this is where we now go back into Payne's Gray, which I think we already have some out. Let's go to shadows first. No, the silver, we don't want to go too dark at all. Right over here where the shadows fall the darkest. Push it. Push it dark. We're doing probably somewhere between 80-20 to 70-30 with our water ratios. And that's where it gets real similar when I say acrylic inks flow a lot like acrylics. And a lot of acrylic comes down to your water ratios, and people don't quite realize that. They want to do straight out of tube on brush, and once they start balancing your water ratios, and that is such a crucial part of actually working with acrylics is your water ratios. That's where the similarities are real similar. And the way they mix. And of course, it's also that way in watercolor. Watercolor is also extremely dependent on your water ratios. But where the difference, I would say, is, do not mark me down as a professional acrylic ink artist by any means. Where I'd say the similarity is real close is that your opaques. Your opaques, when you're doing the mixing and the water ratios, are, I think that's where the acrylics really shine. That shows that, yeah, this is very much like acrylics, because the water ratios can dramatically affect your opacity and the way your paints mix color to color. When you're dealing with watercolors, you're dealing with almost all translucents. Yeah, some opaques here and there, but for the most part, you're building layer upon layer of translucents in watercolor. It's where you're playing with your translucencies. That's how you develop your colors. Acrylics, you're kind of mixing straight color, and then after you mix color, you're dealing with water ratios and opacities. But again, do not chalk me up as a professional when it comes to mediums. I'm also a learner, just like you. Do not get paid professionally to teach this. But I do like to experiment and play on YouTube for you guys. Pocket buzzer going off. Let's see. Political text messages. Yay. So we're going into election year. Getting the political text messages daily. A little more of that pans into that blue. While I'm working it, I just noticed some areas that might need a little bit of help here and there, so I just give them a little bit of help. There we go. Such subtle little things I'm doing right now. It's kind of crazy how subtle the changes are, but how big of an impact they can have by just, lightly darkening an area. Ever so lightly. Taking things 3% darker can have the biggest impact to the overall piece. That's, again, done with your water ratios. Water there. We got on time. Hey, we're not doing too bad. We're sitting at about an hour and a half. Pretty much the halfway point for the 3-hour live stream, but not that we all go the full 3 hours. If we're done at 2 hours and 15 minutes, we're done at 2:15. But I do try to limit myself to 3 hours maximum on this channel, so we try real hard to stay around that 3-hour mark top end. Prevents me from overworking a piece. I always say, hey, I'll add what the piece needs, and from time to time I will go over. If it's absolutely necessary, I do so. Because every piece is different. If I got a piece where I'm doing a lot of, it looks just amazing, and it's going to be a hell of a teaching piece, or just a piece that I just gotta finish fleshing out the idea, the concept, because it looks great, then by all means I will just keep on chasing the rabbit down the hole, and we'll keep on working it until it's officially finished. But as a general guideline, we try to stay around that 3-hour mark. I find that that's a pretty good sweet spot for where I want this work to be, considered completed. I like that 3-hour mark. Yeah, this piece is looking sharp. I like it. It is looking pretty darn sharp. Come here and don't get too dark. If you haven't done so already, do me a huge favor, guys. Reach down there, hit that thumbs up. Show me a little bit of love if you like what we're doing here on the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I sure hope you will, and you'll join us here and see what other creations we come up with. We come up with something new several days a week. They typically turn out similar to this. Pretty awesome. I do giveaways on this channel as well. We will have another one coming up here pretty soon. We're going to do a really big giveaway at 500. So definitely get subscribed for that. We just crossed over 100 the other day, and now we're shooting for our next big milestone of 500. And I will be doing something cool and special for that when that time comes. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that when it comes. But yeah, here. If you just like drawing and art in general, jump in here, give me a subscription, check in from time to time and see what we're creating. And hopefully I'll win you over and have you join me here at least once or twice a week. Whether I'm drawing live or you're just doing, jump on see what I created the day after you got home from work or something like that. You don't have to drive with us live, obviously. It helps if you want to join the chat to be live, but nothing says you can't come home from work and jump on here and practice your own body of work alongside what I'm doing. You might pick up a tip or a trick here and there. But start timing yourself out. Like say I'm going to do a piece of work in the same time period it took him to do. That we can come up with. The craziest thing will happen to you, and I promise you it will. If day one, you're going to get something done. Day two, you're going to get something done. Day three, you're going to get something done. But you start hitting day 4, 5, day 6, or your not necessarily day, but your work created. You're going to start seeing a massive improvement along your own self. And you're like, wow, I really like what I did today. Man, I even like what I did tomorrow even better. The next day, you're going to be like, man, my work is really improving. And that's the hope. That's what I'm doing right here on this channel. And you've watched from day one, and you've seen how my work has changed just from going from 1 hour to 2 hour live streams and finally settling on 3 hours. The quality that my work has taken on, the techniques that I'm using, and now I've decided I'm going real clean instead of real quick and gestural. I'm trying to do quick and gestural, but yet more of a finished product is what I've decided I'm doing here on this channel, and it seems to be working out for me quite well. I have a pile of work that I'm really happy with. Some of them are selling and disappearing, so if you want to like to get yours, make sure you jump over to StinkyRobotArt.com. These are for sale after the live stream ends. You will see that they're on the website. They are sold as a blind box. So if you wish to purchase it as a blind box, as I have on the website, by all means, just go ahead and hit that buy button, and I will randomly select an image for you and send it out. It's kind of fun, I think, to get a random piece of work in the mail. Yeah, I can't wait till I actually paint it. It should look really cool when I get it done. But if there's like I was saying though, if you want to buy a particular one of these, I love, episode 27. That was my favorite one, or my live stream number 24. That was my favorite one. When you go to the website, there's a contact button right there. Just hit the contact button. It'll drop you right into my email and say, hey, I would be interested in purchasing one. Is live stream number, enter the blank number, you say 32, or is that still available? And I will quickly get back to you and say, yes, that one is available. If it is, I will have your name. I'll have the piece you want. And then all you gotta do is hit the buy button. And when it comes through the store, I will ensure that that's the piece I send out to you. We'll put your name on it, and I will mail that particular piece out to you if available. So you are not beholden to doing a blind box if you don't like to. I know some people do not like blind boxes. If you're one of those people, by all means, just contact me. One email away from making sure you get the one you want. Now that's if it's still available. I mean, if it's sold, I do apologize. You'll have to find one that you do like. So it could be to your benefit to give me, I like either or. Like, I like this one if you have it. If you don't, I like this one. Give me an alternative one just in case. So make sure that you get one that you want. if you're also interested in seeing my larger body works, like, hey, what does this guy have? What other work does he have? You want to see the larger bodies work and what I do when I create my actual hard body acrylics? Yeah, definitely jump over there. I have prints available. You can inquire about some originals if you're interested in buying an actual original for your wall. All of that work is over there to see. You know, these are 3-hour live streams. What is this guy? What is this Michael Smell, aka Stinky Robot Guy? What is he doing for paintings that have, you know, 100 hours involved, 200 hours involved? What does that work look like? This is 3 hours. If you're curious, jump over, take a look. I am pretty damn proud of the stuff I do. Not to sound too egotistical, but I take great pride in my work. I'm always trying to better myself. I'm always trying to create something new and exciting. I would love for everybody to jump it out and see what they think of themselves. Okay, here we go. That's done. Call that the silver part done. Now we got to go into the darker body, which I think we're going to use indigo for that because we're going to keep on this blue tone. It's going to be very blue. And it's going to balance it off with the yellows and oranges we use in the smiley face and with the yellows in the background. All that will play really nice together. So we want to go, there we go, the indigo route. Hopefully I got enough room on my palette. Okay. Oh, it's getting pretty used up. Okay, so we're gonna go with a nice water ratio. We don't go full indigo, we don't go light. No, just like that. Good medium indigo color. We're just gonna paint over pretty much the whole area. At least some areas for some highlights and shadows. But we want to stay mostly dark. Again, we will lighten this up as we go. I'm gonna have to come back and add a little bit of silver tone to that. Just not a big deal. So we're just toning or tinting the that's all we're doing right now. Is the darker color. So we ended up using 3 different shades of blue on this piece. Green blue on the main body. Used cyan very, 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 very lightly in the in the silver parts. Now we're busting out indigo for the darker parts here. And like I said, we call it the trim. We're going what to call it. We'll call it the trim pieces. I should probably paint the trim chrome, don't you think? Chrome would be good. If I could figure out a good way to get a good chrome in a very, 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 very tight little space. Don't get a whole lot of room there. Okay. Right now it's just kind of like blah. It just looks like you just put it all again. But that's fine. That's what we're looking for. Because now we're going to come in here and Go now a much darker indigo and start darkening things up. And then here at the very end, of course, you'll see us come in here and add little light white highlights around the whole perimeter of him. That'll really pop him out, set him apart. It'll look good. Right, we're just going to start from our head and work our way down as we go. That's probably the best way to work it. We want to work mainly the shadow sides first. There's a little water ratio in here. We're not done completely dark. We are adding a little bit of water to it, but not a lot. And sometimes these parts will blend right in with the other color next to it. That'll happen, and that's just fine. You got to do what you need to do. Highlights here and there just to make that pop a little more. You'll see when we get there. Like so. Out of line there, we got a quick water, see if we can thin that out. And water can be your ultimate eraser. If you have an emergency and you need to get things quicker, the better. Get that water on there, pull that ink up as best you can. All right, now we're gonna come back and do just a little bit of water, just certain areas. I don't wanna go too dark. Some areas just darken up this. Now, right now it looks pretty darn messy. Like I said before, let's get messy, and then we'll clean it up. Okay. Now we're gonna clean it up with white. We're gonna go in to our highlights. Boom. First, this is just a tiny bit of Payne's gray required, not very much. You gotta remember this indigo is already so dark. It's not super important to go crazy dark with the indigo, with the the Payne's gray. However, you'll need just a little bit here, just to darken up some areas. Again, you'll never really see them on camera watching me do it, but I'm doing this now for the person who buys this piece in person, because it's just these subtle details. These subtle details are what make a piece. Completely sets it apart. Oh, I still gotta do the smiley face. Just about left it behind. There you go. Sorry, we're just concentrating here a little bit, trying to make sure I focus on getting different tones here, because around the face is probably one of the most crucial parts of it, because your focus is going to be on the face. So we got to make sure the face looks great. Okay. Like so. Just a touch of that pains, like we said. Now let's highlight this sucker, and we can move into the orange, and that's going to start bringing the piece to life. After these messages from finish what you started before you move on. Okay. I'm anxious to move along. I'm really getting myself excited for what doing this emoji face up here, and I'm super excited and pumped to do it. So I'm getting a bit distracted, anxious to move up. So I got to stop, take a look at what I'm doing before we move on, because this ink will dry out on our palette. Before we move along, I need to take a deep breath and look before we move. Yeah, I almost missed this section here, which would show how would I put new ink out of the palette. We had to go back and redo colors. What we're trying to do, especially when we're working on time constraints, is we don't want to be constantly jumping back and forth between colors. While we have a color out, we need to go over the entire piece and make sure we've got that color all fulfilled. Anywhere that needs that color is set up and done. Then we move on. It'll just help us with our time management a little bit better. I mean, we're always going to have a few touch-ups when we have to go back and address, and that's fine. But we could try to minimize that as we work. That would be even better. You can see how we started off dark and we got lighter as we went. Even just underneath the level dark. Right up underneath the other shape. That helps kind of push that illusion of that light source that comes down this way. Because this chin's catching it, and underneath where this chin, the light source would hit this chin this direction. So this is going to be the darkest. Right up in here. And then these are going to be the brightest down in the bottom. So water ratios, because we don't want to direct highlight here. So in this, working this down, and jump into the Payne's gray, of course. Really darken it along that shadow side. Ta-da! All right, let's take a deep breath. Look, is there anywhere else we need to address? Now let's do our highlights. Get the white. And I'm mixing just a little tiny bit of that blue and the white, so it's not a complete direct white. Yeah, gotta be very careful here. It's easy, especially using a fatter brush like we are, to overdo this. Is so easy to do. We'll pure white light highlights in just a second. list of. Like so. All the way around, get the whole thing covered up. Again, don't overdo the highlights. It's real tempting to just get crazy with it, and this is where you can easily overdo things. And you come in and start thinking highlights. Less is more in a lot of situations. Okay, now we're gonna go direct white. Keep this somewhat subtle. Touch. Now, keep in mind sometimes that the darker your colors or the brighter you want your highlights, then you may have to come in and add just a few more than one pass. Like here, I got the highlights, but as it dries, because it can be somewhat transparent sometimes, as it dries, it brings that blue back out just a little bit. Not the whole thing, but just in certain areas. I will re-tap it with this white. But that'll give it actually a really nice transition in color. So some areas are just whiter than other colors. That makes it look pretty awesome. We still, have to dress those rivets, but we will do that last. Again, we're gonna keep working it for now. We will get that rivets here in just a second, so don't think I haven't forgotten those. Those will be those light details at the very end that just make it explode, make it look really cool. Where we at? Okay, good. We're doing fantastic on time. We're just right around that 2-hour mark. So time-wise, we're doing just great. Not concerned with time. I'm not pressured by the time, so good. Happy with where we're at so far. I will get that. side detail, we'll do that last. Like I said, we'll go over the entire thing, or we need the very light white detail around the outside border. That is one of the last things I do. So let's not feel too pressured to get that done. But before we go any further, I have before the ink fully dries, we are going to take one step backwards. Tap of blue in here. Not much. Tap of blue. Tap of gray. Doing this now because our paints are almost dry. Our inks are almost dry up. Just like so. Now we need just the tiniest bit of Payne's gray and very watered down. Like so. Now, get the white very thinly. Just need that to be a little silver. Tiny detail, but necessary one. So it didn't take us a lot, but we got it done. Now for the piece I think that everybody's been waiting for. The little eyes. That is mine. Just messing with you, make you prolong it just a tiny bit. Super careful with this. Do not, because I'm going straight Payne's gray. Do not want to color outside the line. Yep. Now, when it comes to this emoji face here, we're going to have two options we can do. One, I could paint this emoji the same as you'd see it on your phone or the one you're all used to. That is that yellow color with a little bit of orange highlights and just make it look like the emoji button. Mostly yellow and a little bit of orange, you know. Everybody knows what an emoji looks like. Or I could do it as one of my jewels with an emoji face on it. And I'm prone to want to do that. A little more fitting to my style and what I do. And since I'm always using these pieces to practice my larger works, yeah, absolutely, we're going jewel tone. That is 100% what we will be doing on it. I already have a little bit of this Payne's gray on the brush. While I do that, we're gonna go ahead and hit the shadow. A little bit of the shadow on these rivets here, just because I have it, and the paint, this is about to dry up anyways, so. Shadow out while Payne's gray is on the very last edge from being dry, so that's why I'm gonna do it. We're about to transition to a fun, exciting part of it. So let's take a second, get the boring thing out of the way. That's just going on each side of these rivets and add a little shadow line. Already been done. Just making sure those are good. Ink is just about done. All right, yeah, good. Oh man, done. All right, done with the boring part. As I highlight each one. No, that's the wrong brush. We'll wait a second. We'll do that at the end when I do the outline highlights. We'll do the highlights on those rivets at that point. Okay, this is it. We're ready. Drum roll. Brrrah. We're gonna go orange. We're gonna go the rustic red. And we're gonna go with brilliant yellow? No, let's go with not the yellow ochre. Where's the color I'm looking for? There we go, Indian yellow. So that's gonna be my palette. Start off with the orange first, and the yellow. Switch up to a little bit fatter brush. Yeah, maybe that's not quite the brush I want. It's a little too thick. We'll just go back and maintain this brush. This is a perfect little brush for detail work. I use it a lot in the work. A nice sharp point so I can get really tight, but it's also wide enough. The number 4 round, if you're curious, is wide enough that I can cover a general amount of area all at once. We're thinking kind of highlights and shadows, kind of how we're thinking right now. See, we're going to work out the colors like this. I'm not worried about the eye details. We're going to make that black here in a minute, and we'll cover that up very last. And we're almost ignoring the face. We're just working on the jewel. The face is inked in there, so we should be able to see that through the... Thanks, WT. We'll be able to see that through what I'm building up. We're going to leave some areas white because we're going to want a real nice crisp highlight on some areas. Sure. I'm bringing that yellow in. Just a tiny little bit of white. Make sure that yellow's nice and dark. I'm using Indian yellow because Indian yellow, the heavier you put it on, it can go to a nice orange color. The lighter you put it on, the more yellow it appears. So it allows us to really blend that yellow into the orange nicely. Now let's go back over top of the orange again, make a nice smooth transition. So yeah, it does seem awfully dark, doesn't it? We'll probably lighten that up. There we go for the border, and right near the edge, the shadow details of this, we're going to go into really dark red earth. That'll really darken it up. Right into our shadow side. Get in there, we'll do some orange and that and blend it together. Turn it around. Nice little thin bead around this red earth all the way around the perimeter of it. Gonna give it a look. Before it dries, we're gonna take that orange, yellow, and try to blend that in quickly before the ink dries. Dries pretty quick on this, so pretty darn quick. In fact, take a little more of that red earth. Try it a little quick on us, so we're gonna use a little red earth on the brush to feather that in a bit more. There we go. That feathered it right in. Made that disappear. A bit more earth. Feather it. All the way around. Oh, like so. A little more of that yellow in because we want to make sure it's yellow orange, not too orange. But we want that beautiful rich color so we can play with that off that blue. Sweet. Okay. Now we're gonna go with that yellow and add that. Need a little more white out there. Our white's getting pretty dry on us. Bringing the white back in. And we're going to be mixing white with the yellow and working our highlight colors in. Nice, pretty, bright. And this is where our yellow, we're really lightening it up. Remember I said it got awfully orange. We're going to, don't worry, we're going to bring it back out. This is the part where we bring it back out. Right here. Okay. Now we're going to go straight white with it. We're bringing in lightest of the lights. And once I did that, I got rid of some of that yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some light colored yellow, and we're just going to kind of just tone the orange back just a wee little bit. Don't want to overdo it, or we'll get too yellow. We definitely need to bring some of this yellow back in here. Like so. Cool. Beautiful. Now that looks like a gorgeous, gorgeous jewel. Okay. Fantastic. Before we put the face in there, we're going to go ahead and address those little nodules at the top. We'll bring in some Scarlet red for that. We're getting real close to being done here. Where are we at? 211? That's not bad. Still got a little bit of work to do to the piece. We're not finished, but we're getting pretty close. This piece has come together really nicely today. It's turning out to be a fantastic piece. It is fantastic. So couldn't be happier, but we're not done yet. So stick with us. We will keep on working it. Bring in Scarlet this time. And this time we will feather it a little bit to the orange side of things, a little peach orange, kind of near the highlighted areas. Make the deep red a little deeper. Great red. And then we will, for the dark part of this, we'll actually take the little bright red, just a touch of the indigo. If you have any indigo that's not fully dry, and yeah. This will create a nice purple that we'll use for the shadow color. Yeah, just like so. We're done. Now, here we go. We're going to go in here and quick blow dry. Let's do the face. Cover the whole thing in white. Excuse me. Cover the whole thing in our white little outlines. Correction. And we'll have a little touch-ups here and there we also need to be doing, like I'm doing right now. I found a little area I need to touch up real quick. There's nothing worse than getting a whole piece finished up. You're like, all right, you're done, you sign it, you walk away, and find one little area that you totally missed the love on. You gotta go back and fix. So if I see it, fix it. Take a second. Call it good. All right. Now, like I said, we're gonna take this blow dryer real quick. So let me pause you. Yeah. For this piece, this part, we actually will use the ink. So let's go in here and grab a number 5. Should be pretty decent. All right, here we go. My big old fat head's gonna get in the camera. I'm gonna try to keep it out as much as I can. But until I get around and get new glasses, clean them so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now you want to be a little bit light because you're doing this over a layer of paint, basically. And if you push too hard with your pen, what you'll do is you'll dig into the surface and you'll peel the paint out of the surface. You don't want to scratch the paint. You want to lay the ink on top of the paint. I mean, it is ink technically. It's acrylic inks, so technically, yes, it is ink. But in a lot of ways, because it's acrylic, it acts like acrylic, and it lays down on the surface. So if you dig in too much, you can scratch it or pull it up. Best to just take your time, be careful with it, make sure your ink lays be very soft with your pen so you do not dig into it. Just a suggestion for anyone who's opting to work in acrylic inks like I am. And getting our third face out there. Okay, now I just want to peel that up real. Ink wants to come right out of that, especially that white. That white's very thick. So wherever I'm white, it really wants to pull up. There's the dirt face. Now we'll probably put the little white highlights on that dirt face in a second. Let's let the ink settle for a second. Before we go on, oh, look at that. That is fantastic. Yeah, we'll add some white highlights in there where the brightest white is. We will touch them just a little bit. You'll see in a second what we'll do. But while we're waiting, get some nice fresh white ink out there. Some virgin white. There. Swap this thing out for our little tiny thin long brush. One round with nice long bristles. Now we're going to go straight white. I'm just wetting the brush a little bit just so the brush has a little movement. Now we're going to say nice. Careful. I'm going to go wet. Right. We're going to outline all the shadowed areas. Just nice, crisp. White outline. This will help our entire painting just pop right off the board. Keep it subtle, keep it thin. You also want to be very careful because this is the part where you got the white in. You got a nice, beautiful, crisp line. You're like, I'm loving it. And then you smear your hand right through it. And white, out of all the ink colors, white is the hardest one to try to erase. Because it is so opaque. You won't think it's opaque when you're fighting to get it to, you know, when you're fighting doing the layers and you're like, oh, this thing is not opaque, it's translucent. It's just always bringing out the colors from underneath the layers. It's driving me nuts. Well, I promise you try to erase it off. I think you'll realize just how opaque it really is. It's not that translucent. It's just the nature of the color to allow the other colors to bleed through. I'm also touching up some areas where the white highlights need to be while we're at it. So we'll highlight the side of the inner crease. Tapping off the top of these rivets. We'll do that last though. And around. Be very careful not to drag your hand through the ink. And I'm rotating it so it's easier for me to work. I'm going to be very cautious about where I lay my hand down. I do not want to lay my hand directly into wet ink. Made that mistake so many times. See there, I got a little off, a little too thick on my white. I needed a thinner line, so we're going to try to clean it up. You want straight ink, but occasionally I have too much ink on the brush, and so I just tap on my rag. I'm not wiping it with water or anything. I'm just tapping off some of the additional ink. Just quick little whoosh with the brush. That's it. Because at this point, this thing is pretty damp. Obviously, it looks damp. It'll be pretty darn damp at this point. Okay, I'm gonna flip around here and go to the outside of this. Well, do that up a little bit. Highlights on this thing just a bit more because that's gonna. Beautiful. The head's done. Now we're gonna move down to the neck. You know, I feel like just right here underneath the base of these eyes a little bit. Tiny little line just on the side of that. That'll help pop those eyes just a tiny. It's a small, very subtle detail. You'll barely even notice it, but it's there. So here. Just like that. Now we're going to pop a few of these little highlights a little bit stronger. Just in a few areas where I think it needs to be a little stronger. Pretty much that's it. Okay. Now it's time for us to go through here and tap all the highlights and the rivets that we want to do while we're at it. Rivet part. We are very close to putting our final touches on it, guys. We're about done. Get our white highlight on top of all these rivets, nice, thick, bright. Okay, I have one last final detail to do. One final push. We're going to use Payne's Gray, which I put here, white. Doesn't have to be too light. We just want a nice, kind of a light, like a dark gray. We're not gonna do much. We're gonna come right here to the smiley face where the white highlights are at. Gonna paint in. Just where the white highlights are, we're gonna paint in a little bit of this gray. Or white. Water. No. This is a very, very, very subtle detail we're doing right now. Only doing it where the white highlights are at. No. Got that in. We're going to make it just a tiny little bit wider. Now we're going to feather in too light. No. You may not even see this at home on the camera. This is so subtle, the camera may not be picking this up. I have no idea. But it just adds it allows those highlights to kind of go over top of the facial details to make the face look like it's inset into the jewel. Okay. That's it. That is our final piece. It's time to sign it, seal and reveal. I need a new number 8. Two pens and one of them's failing. It's about time to get some new pens. Again, it's always time to get new pens. Okay. "2022" by Michael Smale. Let's get all this stuff out of our way. We're gonna give this sucker a good, beautiful peel. See the final results, guys. This is it. We're at the final push. This is where it's all done. We're just gonna pull it out, clean it up. I lied. Always that one last detail I want to add. Where is my brush? Something I want to go back here. Just get some bright white. Right on this highlighted side, I just want to hit some real super crazy bright white highlights. That's what I was gonna do at the end. Okay, there. This super duper subtle, but just something I wanted to do. Okay, peel it, reveal it. We're done, guys. We're done. Pull off our border. If you want to buy one of these, I'll grab a mat here in a second. I'll show you what they look like matted up. I got a bunch of mats yesterday, so I had a little time yesterday since the live stream failed, unfortunately. So we went ahead and I made up some mats and sent out some orders that I had that people had bought. So I was able to catch up on all my shipments yesterday. So that was nice. A few things come in over Easter holiday. Well, of course, if I'm out of town, that's when the orders come in. So we had some stuff come in through the Easter weekend and got those shipped out yesterday. Things caught up a little bit here in studio. This is a great piece. Let me grab a mat. And there it goes, right like that. So this is what it'll look like if you order this piece or one like it. They will all come with a mat just like that. All you gotta do is get a 9x12 frame, pop it in, you got yourself a new piece of art for your walls. So if you're interested in buying this piece or any other of the live streams that we have, or if you want to pick up prints or see the original work, jump right over there to my StinkyRobotArt.com, and right over there we have them all available. Again, as they are sold as blind box sets. So if this one particular one, you want to own this piece, all you got to do is simply go over to the website. Before you hit blind box purchase, because they will be under the blind boxes on the original art page, under there, all you got to do is real simple, hit the contact button before you make the purchase and just say, hey, Michael, is live stream number, and I believe this one is 33 today. I believe, don't quote me, you have to check. I think this is number 33. I just hit still available. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. I check the emails a couple times a day, and I will let you know, yes, this piece is still available, or no, unfortunately, it is already sold. Is there another one you're interested in? But if I say, yes, this piece is available, you go, it's mine, I'm going to buy it right now. So then all you got to do is, as soon as I say, yes, it is available, I will hold that piece for like 24 hours so that you can then go in and have a whole day to purchase the piece. And when I see your name, if your name is Bob and it comes through as, oh, Bob just made an order, I match it up to your email name. Like, yep, this is Bob. I will ship it out to you. So it's not that hard. If you don't want a blind box version, you want this exact version, then I will. All you do is just send me that email on the website, hit the contact button, and I will make sure that that is the piece I send to you, and you get the one that you absolutely love. But if you want a surprise and you just want something to show up in the mail and get really excited about, like Christmas Day, what did I get in the mail? What did I get? Then yeah, definitely go with the blind box, and I will randomly select one for you, and I will randomly send it out to you, and I hope to God you love it. I think you will. I take great pride in my work. I am very proud of my work. And as always, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Critique my work. Like, love, hate. Not a big deal. I'm a big boy. I can take criticism. Let me know what you think. If you just found this channel and you haven't, or you watched this video and you haven't done it yet, there's that button right down there. Hit it. Give me those thumbs up. Helps me on the algorithm. I greatly appreciate it. So do all the comments, of course. And subscribe to the channel. I hope I've earned your subscription now that you watched it all the way through, or you caught halfway. I really hope you'll hit subscribe, and that bell notification will let you know every single time I go live, guys. As always, thank you for showing up. We got our third face. I like it. My son's really gonna like it, because that is his favorite face to make of all time. Guys, I will be live tomorrow, so don't miss the channel. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye, WT.